Quick demo of this video tutorial. This is a step-by-step tutorial to discuss all you need to know about jQuery Ajax in ASP.NET.Mvc with SQL Server. This is the final output of this tutorial. An ASP.NET.Mvc application. Inside that we have implemented operations like insert, update and delete. This application deals with employee information. You can add new employee like this. Click on submit. So here we can see the notification submitted successfully. Newly added record can be seen here, Bruno Nash. If you want to edit this record, click on this pencil icon here. Then it will show the selected employee details in this tab. Now I'm going to update this name. Updated. Click on submit. So here you can see the updated name. If you want to delete this record, click on delete icon here and confirm the operation. So record is deleted. So all of these operations are implemented using jQuery Ajax. Apart from that, we have discussed how to use Bootstrap Tab Controller, then jQuery Data Table plugin, Notify.js plugin, how to show loading spinner or loading image during jQuery Ajax post operation. I'm sure you will find this tutorial helpful for your upcoming projects. So please watch till the end of this video tutorial. What's up YouTube, welcome to .NET Mob. In this video we will discuss how to use jQuery Ajax in ASP.NET.Mvc application using an example with CRUD operations. Before starting this video tutorial, I would like to ask you a favor. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video, and for more awesome videos like this, please be subscribed to this channel .NET Mob. Without further ado, let's get started. First of all, we have to create an ASP.NET.Mvc application. For that, here we have my Visual Studio 2013. First of all, click on new project here. Then select web under Visual C#. Then select ASP.NET web application. Then name your application here. I will name it as jQuery Ajax in ASP.NET.Mvc application. Then select the location where you want to save this application. Then click on OK. Select MVC template, keep other options as it is, click on OK. So here we have a brand new ASP.NET.Mvc application. First of all, I am going to remove unwanted controllers and related views and model classes. So I will select these two controllers, account controller and home controller. Then right click, then click on delete, click on OK. Do the same for model and view folder. Before continuing with this project, we have to create database for this application. So next we are going to create a database for this application. For that, I will be using my management studio here. So here we have connected to SQL Server instance. First of all, we have to create a database. For that, you can right click on this database here, then click on new database. Here we can name our database. I will name it as jQuery Ajax DB. Click on OK. Newly created database can be seen here. Inside the database, I am going to create a new table. For that, right click on tables, then new table. Here we need to list our columns. First column will be employee ID. So inside this table, we are going to store details of an employee. Employee ID will be of the type integer. After that, we have name column. It will be of the type varchar 50. Then we have position as varchar 50, and we have office as varchar 50. Salary, it's of the type integer. Now we have the last column, image path. It's of the type varchar 500. Now I want to set this employee ID as the primary key for the table. Then I am going to set the same column, employee ID, as the identity column for the table. So select the column, then go to column properties, then expand this identity specification here, then set is identity as yes. So we don't want to insert values into employee ID. SQL Server will take care of that. It will start from 1 and incremented by 1 upon new record insertion. In order to save this table, you can use the shortcut Control S, or you can click on the save button here. I will name this table as employee. Click on OK. Newly created table can be seen under this tables node here. Next, we are going to add entity model for the database that we have just created. So back to Visual Studio here, then right click on models folder, then add new item, then select data from the left panel, then select ADO.NET entity data model. I will name this entity model as DB models. Click on add, select generate from database, then click on next, click on new connection. In this window we have to provide the SQL Server connection and database. For me it is local /SQLE 2012. Then from this drop down I will select the database jQuery Ajax DB. Click on OK. After creating this entity model, there will be a class with this name, and we have to create an object of this class in order to interact with database. So I am going to change this class name as DB model. Click on next. In this step we have to select the database objects that we need to include in entity model. So I will select this table, employee table, then click on finish. So here we have created the entity model for the database. This is the diagrammatic representation of table employee here. Inside the entity model there you can see a dbmodel.tt. Inside that you can see a file employee.cs. Inside that we have a class employee. We will be using this class as a model for this MVC application. Next we will add an MVC controller into this project. Add an MVC controller. For that you can right click on controllers folder here, then add controller, then I will select this item MVC5 controller empty. Click on add. I will name this controller as employee. Click on add. So here we have the employee controller. Inside that you can see the default index action. Now we want to make this employee controller as the default controller inside this application. For that, expand abstract, then open rootconfig.cs file. Then you have to replace this home with employee. Now back to employee controller. Now we are going to add a view for this index action. For that, right click here, then add view. Keep the view name as it is, index, then empty template, check layout page, click on add. So here we have created the index view. For this view we will be using a default layout page in MVC applications. Inside this shared folder you can see the layout page here, _layout.cshtml. Now let me run this application. For that, hold Ctrl then press F5. So this is how the index view looks like. Only this h2 tag is from the index view here, this one, and remaining part of this page is from the default layout page here. Now I want to remove this navigation menu from this application. I want to change this application name as employee register. For that, we can do inside this layout page here. I'm going to remove this navigation menu from here and changing application name as employee register. Employee register. And I want to change this link here. Action name will be index, then controller name will be employee. Employee. Let me save this and reload this page here. So here we have removed all of the default navigation menu, and here we have changed the application name as employee register. And I want to change this photo as jQuery Ajax MVC CRUD operations. So that we can do here jQuery Ajax ASP.NET MVC CRUD operations. Let me save this and reload this page here. All set. Now we can start with index view. Now we will add Bootstrap Tab Controller into this application. For that, I will remove this h2 header from here and I will add ul element here. Class is equal to nav, then nav space nav hyphen tabs. Inside this we have to add li element for each tab. So in total we have 2 tabs. So I will add 2 li element here. Let me copy this and pasting below that. And first tab will be the active tab. So I will set this CSS class active for the first li element. Inside this we have to add anchor tag, and I will set the data hyphen toggle is equal to tab. Now inside this header tag we can specify the tab title, so I will set it as view all, and let me copy this anchor tag from here and pasting inside the second li element. Now let me change the tab title as add new. Let me save this and reload this page here. So here we have 2 tabs, view all and add new. Now we need to add content for these 2 tabs. For that I will add an extra div element here. Div class is equal to tab hyphen content. Inside this we can add 2 div element for these 2 tabs. So first div class is equal to tab pane. Then we will add the class fade then space in. So this will add a fade in effect when we select a tab. Then we have to add the class active, since this is the content of active tab. Inside this div we can specify the content that we want to display inside this tab. So let me type tab 1 content, and let me copy this and pasting below that. Let me remove this active tab from here and I will set this as tab 2 content. Now let me save this and reload this page. Now if I change the tab, you can see that content of tab is not changing. In order to change the content based on the selected tab, we can do this. First of all, we will add an id element for the tab content div. id is equal to first tab. Then I will set the id for second tab as second tab, and now we can add the href element for this anchor tag right here. So I will set this content as the content for this tab, and I will set the href element for the second tab as second div, second tab. Let me save this and reload this page here. Now if I select the add new tab, you can see that the content is changing, tab 2 content. Now if we go back to view all tab, you can see that tab content is changing. Now we will add few CSS rules for this tab. For that, here we have a style sheet. Inside content folder we have a style sheet site.css. This style sheet is referenced inside the layout page here. So you can see the content bundle /css. If you go to this bundle config.cs, here you can see the bundle content.css. Here we have specified the style sheet site.css. Inside the site.css file we have some default CSS rules, and now we can add few CSS for this tab also. First of all, we have to add some margin for this tab control. So we can do this ul.nav hyphen tabs, and we can specify the margin here. Now we can specify the margin here. Margin is equal to 10 px for top and bottom and 0 px for left and right. Let me save this and reload this page here. Now we have added 10 px before this tab control and 10 px after this tab control. Now we will style this tab title here. For that, let me paste few CSS rules here. So this will add background color and text color for tab which is not selected, and this will add top border for the selected tab title. Let me save this and reload this page. Now you can see that selected tab got a top border, and for non-selected tab we have added a background and text color. Now if I change the active tab to add new, you can see the styles there also. Now first of all, we will implement the operation view all. So inside this view all tab, we will show all of the employees that we have added into employee tab. So back to Visual Studio here. Now employee controller. Here we are going to add a action method, public action result view all. So from this view we will return all of the employees. So I'm going to add one more function here. It will return IEnumerable collection of employee. We have to use this namespace here. Then I will name this function as get all employees. Inside that we can add the using statement. As a resource we will use the db models object. db model as db is equal to new db model, and here we return all of the employees. So return db dot employees to list, and we will convert the list into employee list. Now inside this view all action we will return a view, and we will pass data from this function, and we can call the function here get all employees. Now we need to create a view for this view all action method. Right click here, then add view, keep the view name as it is, then select list template from this drop down, and I will set the model class as employee. Click on add. So here we have the view. We don't need a layout page for this view, so I will set layout is equal to null here. Now we will show this view inside this first tab as tab 1 content. For that, back to index view, and I want to change this tab 1 content as at html.action. So this will render the action view all. Now let me build this solution and reload this page. That's it. Here we have rendered view all action method. Now I'm going to remove this h2 header from here, and I want to remove this hyperlink for create new, and we will add few more classes from Bootstrap: table, hyphen strip, then table condensed. Let me save this and reload this page right here. So here we have added employee list. We don't want to show this image path column here, so I will remove that image path from here and from here. Let me save this and reload this page. For now we don't have any employee inside employee table. Now we have to add new employees into employee table using this add new tab right here. So let's implement insert operation in this application. For that, I'm going to add two action methods here: public action result add or edit. Let me copy this and pasting below that. I will mark this second one as HTTP post, and first one will be HTTP get by default, and we have a parameter for this action method in id is equal to 0, and from this we will return a view. Let me copy this line and pasting inside the post action method. In order to design this add or edit view, we will be using this model class employee here. Inside the model class, you can see that here we have employee ID, name, position, office, salary, and image path. I got a lot of requests asking how to upload file using jQuery Ajax in ASP.NET.Mvc application. So that's why I have added image into this application here. In order to work with files in ASP.NET.Mvc application, we will use the property HTTP posted file base. So let me add a property of the type HTTP posted file base. In order to use this type, we have to use the namespace system.web. So I will add the namespace here using system.web, and I want to name this property as image upload. Now we need to add not mapped property here because this property is not there inside our table employee. So we need to add the attribute not mapped. For that, we have to use the namespace system.component_model.data annotations.schema. In order to save uploaded images into this application, we need to add a folder inside this project. So right click on project, then add new folder. I will name this folder as app files. Inside the folder, I will add a folder images. Right click on it, add new folder images. Now inside this folder, I'm going to add a default image. For that, right click on it, then add existing item. Then I will select an image from my desktop here, default.png, click on add. So here we have added the image default.png. Now inside this model class employee, we will add a constructor to set the relative path of this default image here. So we can add the constructor like this: public employee image path is equal to tile symbol, then app files, then images, then default.png. So inside this add or edit action method, I will declare an object of employee model employee as emp is equal to new employee, and we will pass this object into the view. Now we need to create a view for this add or edit action method. So right click here, then add view, keep the view name as it is, add or edit, and we will select the template edit, and we have to set the model class as employee. Click on add. We don't need a layout for this view, so I will set layout is equal to null. Now we can render this add or edit action method inside the tab controller. So I can do this. Let me remove this content at html.action add or edit. Now let me build this solution, reload this page. Now let me check the add new tab. So here we can see the add or edit that is created by the scaffolding mechanism. Now we can customize this add or edit view. During that time, I will set this second tab as active. So we can remove this active tab from here and we'll add the active tab here. And we will remove this CSS class from here and we will add the active class here. Let me save this and reload this page. So by default, second tab will be selected. Now I'm going to remove these headers from here. So go to the add or edit view. Now we can remove this h2 tag from here, and I will remove this h4 and hr element here. Now we can remove this back to list hyperlink. So I will remove this from here, saving and reloading this page. Now I'm going to split this form into two equal parts using Bootstrap. First of all, I will add a div for row. So we can do this div class is equal to row, and I will close this div after form horizontal div. So we can place the div close here, and in order to split this form into two equal parts, I will use the class called md6. So we can do this div class is equal to call -md-6, and I will close the div after salary text boxes. And in the second half we will keep the image upload controls. So div class is equal to call md6, and I'm going to move this div for submit buttons into the first half. So let me cut this div from here and pasting inside the first half. Let me save this and reload this page here. Now I am going to replace this image path text box with image uploader and an img control to show the selected image preview. So we can do this. First of all, I will add an img control, img, then src is equal to @url.content, then we will pass the image path here, model.image path. Now we need to add a margin of 10 px from all sides. So I will add the attribute style here is equal to margin is equal to 10 px. Then we can set the height and width of the control. Height is equal to 200 pixel and width is equal to 200 pixel. Finally, I will give an ID here is equal to image preview, and we can close the element here. Next, we need to add a file uploader. So we can add the input element here of the type file. Then we have name attribute. Name attribute should be same as the property name that we have in our model class. It should be binded during the post operation. So we will bind this file uploader with this property image uploader of the type http posted file base. Let me copy this image upload from here and we can paste the name here. We don't have any value here, so I will remove this. Then we can set the accept attribute. So using this attribute we can restrict the image extensions. For now we will allow only JPEG and PNG images. So we can do this image/JPEG, then comma image/PNG. Let me save this, reload this page. So here we have the img control and then we have the file uploader. Next we are going to select an image for upload. So click on this choose file button and I will select this one. So when we select an image for upload, we need to show the selected image preview inside this img control. For that we will be adding onChange event inside this file uploader. So next we will add a script file for jQuery Ajax CRUD operation. Apart from that, we will keep the functions or general functions for the application like showing preview of selected image. For that, I am going to add a script file inside the folder scripts. I click on the folder scripts, then add JavaScript file. I will name this file as scripts. Click on OK. And I will add the script file reference inside the layout page here, layout, and I'm going to drag reference for the script file here. Let me drag the script file here. So here we have added the reference for the script file that we have just created. So inside this file we will write the JavaScript functions for jQuery Ajax CRUD operation and general JavaScript functions. In this case, I am going to copy paste the function for showing preview of selected image here. This is the function show image preview. In this case, we have to pass the file uploader as the image uploader parameter, and we have to pass the img control as preview image here. So I'm going to add the onChange event here. OnChange is equal to, let me copy the function name show image preview, and first parameter will be the file uploader itself. So I will pass this parameter here. Then we need to pass this object img control here. For that we can do this document dot get element by id, and we need to pass the id here, image preview. First of all, we will check whether we have an image for upload or not. If we have an image, we will read the uploaded image and we will set the img attribute src as the uploaded image. Let me save this project, reload this page. Now I am going to select an image, click on choose file. Now I will select this one. So here is the preview of selected image. Now we need to change this label text as image instead of image path. So we can do this inside the model class here. So we will add the attribute display name here. Display name. For that we have to import this namespace system.component model. Inside that we can pass the name here. So I will set it as image. Now build this project, reload this page. So label text is changed. Now I want to change this submit button text as submit. For that we can do this, change this value as submit. Next we are going to implement client-side validation in this application. Don't worry, we will do the Ajax CRUD operations after this client-side validation. So I am going to make this name text box as a mandatory field for this form. For that, go to the model class employee here. Now I'm going to add the required attribute here. Required. For that we have to use the namespace system.componentModel.data annotations. Inside that we can pass the error message. Error message is equal to this field is required. In order to work this client-side validation, we have to use the bundle for jQuery validation script files that you can see inside the bundle config.cs file. So we have a bundle for jQuery validations. So I'm going to add this bundle inside the index view here. For that, I will use the script section scripts inside the layout page here. So we can start like this. Add section scripts. Inside this we can use this bundle. So add scripts dot render. Inside that we have to pass the bundle name. So I will copy this bundle name from here and pasting here. Now let me build this solution. Reload this page. Now I am going to submit this form without entering mandatory field name. Click on submit. So here you can see the client-side validation error. This field is required. Currently we have normal HTML text boxes. I want to add the Bootstrap class form control into these text boxes. For that we can do this. Go to the add or edit view. Then we have to pass one more parameter for this editor form method. So we can do this new HTML attributes is equal to new at class is equal to form hyphen control. So I'm going to copy this from here and pasting for remaining editor form methods. In order to work this way of passing CSS class into editor form method, we have to update our ASP.NET.Mvc to MVC 5.1 or latest version. In my case, it is MVC 5.0, so I have to update this application into MVC 5.1. If you don't know how to check the MVC version, go to references, then look for system.web.mvc, then right click on it, then click on properties, then you can see the version. So I'm going to update this project into MVC 5.1. For that, select the project, then tools, then library package manager, then package manager console. Then use this NuGet command. I have given this command in video description. Now click on enter. So here we have updated to MVC 5.1. If you check the MVC version here, you can see that it is updated to MVC 5.1. Now I'm going to build this solution. Reload this page. So here we have applied the Bootstrap class form control into these text boxes. Now we are going to implement this jQuery Ajax CRUD operation using JSON in ASP.NET.Mvc with this script file that we have just created. inside the add or edit view, you can see the form that we are going to submit using jQuery Ajax. So here we have the begin form method. Inside that we have to pass the post action method. So it will be add or edit inside employee controller employee. After that we have to set the form method as post. Inside the employee controller, you can see the action method add or edit. So this form will be submitted to this add or edit action method of the type HTTP post. After that, we have to set few attributes here. So we can pass like this new. First of all, I'm going to set encryption type as multi-part form data because we have a file upload in this form. So we have to set the encryption type here. ENC type is equal to multi-part / form hyphen data. After that, I'm going to set the on submit event for this form. On submit is equal to return jQuery Ajax post. Into this function, we have to pass the object of this form. So we can pass that using this parameter here. So this function jQuery Ajax post should return false in order to avoid the default post of this form. Now I'm going to define this function jQuery Ajax post inside the script file here. So we can start with a function and we have a parameter for this function form. First of all, we will make sure that client-side validation is applied to this form. For that, we can do this $.validator.unobtrusive.pass. Inside that, we have to pass the form object here, form. Form validation is successful, so we can do this form.valid. If it is valid, we will do the rest of the operations here. Finally, we will return false in order to avoid the default form submit. Now we can submit this form using jQuery Ajax. For that, $.ajax. Inside this Ajax function, we have to pass an object to configure this post operation. First of all, we have type is equal to post. So this will be a post operation. After that, we have to set the URL. So URL can be retrieved from this parameter here, form.action. Then we need to pass the data for the form. So we can do this new form data. Inside that, we have to pass this form object. Finally, we have the success function. Success is equal to function, and we have a parameter response. So we will be posting this form using this Ajax operation right here. This post operation will be reached up to this HTTP post add or edit method. From this form, after insert or update operation, we will return updated list of employees, and we can use that list in order to update this view all tab right here. So let's look how we can do that. Here we have the index view. Inside that, you can see the content div for the first tab. That means this view all tab. So let me copy the ID of this div element, and we can do this .html, and we can set this response inside this div. Since we have a file uploader in this form, we have to add two more attributes inside this Ajax function. Content type is equal to false. After that, we have to set process data is equal to false. So I want to generalize this function for all of the functions with and without file upload. For that, I'm going to take this object out of this Ajax function, and I will declare a property here, Ajax config is equal to, then I will paste the object here. So here is the trick. If form dot attribute enc type, so here we will check the attribute encryption type of the form. If it is multi-part form data, we can say that it contains a file upload. If it is not equal to multi-part form data, we can say that there is no file upload. So we can check that here. If it is equal to multi-part form data, we can add these two attributes inside this object. For that, I will do this config. Inside there, we can pass this attribute name is equal to false. Let me copy this and pasting below that, and I will copy this process data and pasting here. Now we can remove these attributes from here. So instead of comma, we have to use the semicolon. So here we have a general function, jQuery Ajax post. It can be used for any type of form with and without file upload. Now it is time to implement this HTTP post action method add or edit. For that, I will add a parameter of the type employee as emp. First of all, we will check whether a file is selected for upload or not. For that, we can check this property image upload of the type HTTP posted file base is null or not. For that, we can do this if emp dot image upload not equal to null. Then we can do this. First of all, we will retrieve the uploaded file name. String file name is equal to path. For that, we have to import this namespace system.io dot get file name without extension. Inside that, we can pass the file name emp dot image upload dot file name. Now let me copy this line and pasting below that. Now we need to retrieve the extension. Extension is equal to, instead of get file name without extension method, we will call the function get extension. Now we will create a custom file name in order to avoid the repetition of file name in the folder. First of all, we will concat this original file name with date part date time dot now to string. Now we will format this string date to YYMMSSFFF. Finally, we will concat the extension here. Now we will update this image path property with relative path of this image in this application. For that, we can do this emp dot image path is equal to, so we will be saving this image into this folder, images inside app files folder. So relative path will be like this, tilde symbol, then / app files / images / then I will concat this custom file name here. So we can do this plus file name. Now we need to save this image into this images folder. For that, we can do this emp dot image upload dot save as. Inside this function, we have to pass the exact path of image. So we can do this path dot combine. So we will combine like this, server dot map path. Inside this function, we will pass the relative path of this images folder. So I will copy this from here and pasting here. As a second parameter, we will pass the file name here, file name. So if there is any image selected for upload, it will be uploaded into images folder here using this if clause. And we will save the relative path of image into image path column of employee table. If there is no image selected for upload, we will use the previous image path. For that, we have to add a hidden field inside this add or edit view. So I will add a hidden field for image path after this employee ID. So let me copy this and pasting below that. Instead of employee ID, we need image path. Now back to add or edit action method. Now we need to save this record into employee table. For that, we will use the using statement here. As a resource, I will use the object of db model class. db model as db is equal to new db model. In order to save the record, we can do this db dot employees dot add. We will add this object emp into this employee list here, and finally call the function save changes db dot save changes. And we will be using this updated employee list in order to update this view all tab right here. So here we are going to redirect to view all action method. For that, we can do this return redirect to action view all. Now build this solution. Reload this page. Here you can see that employee list is empty. Now I'm going to add a new record here. Now I'm going to submit this form. For that, you can click on the submit button here. Form is submitted. Now let me check the view all tab here. You can see the newly added record photo. So it is working. So here we have implemented Ajax post operation in ASP.NET.Mvc application. So here we have submitted this form into HTTP post action method add or edit. After the successful insert operation, we have returned the updated employee list. Using that list, we have updated the view all tab here. Now let me check the SQL Server database. For that, right click on this table employee, then click on select top 1000 rows. So here you can see the newly added record photo. Inside the image path column, you can see the relative path of uploaded image. Now let me check the folder images here. Right click on images folder, then click on open folder in file explorer. So here you can see the uploaded image. After successful insert or update operation, we have to refresh or reset this form here. After that, we want to show this view all tab here. For these two requirements, I'm going to define a function inside the script file here. Function name will be refresh add new tab. For this function, we have two parameters, reset URL and then show view tab. This is a general function. Using this function, we can refresh this add new form here, and we can decide whether we want to show this view all tab or not. In some case, we don't want to show this view all tab after the refresh operation. In that case, we can pass false for this parameter show view tab. So here we are going to reset or refresh this add new form with jQuery Ajax and reset URL. For that, we can do this $.ajax. Inside that, we can pass the configurations. Type is equal to get. After that, we have to set the URL. URL is equal to reset URL. Then finally, we have the success function. Success is equal to function, and we have a parameter response here. Response. So inside this parameter, we will have the HTML of the fresh form. We can assign that HTML into the second tab div. For that, let me copy this second tab div ID, and we will do this. .html. Inside that, we will pass the fresh form HTML response. Now I want to set this tab title as add new. it will be changed during update operation. So I want to make sure that this tab title will be add new after resetting this form. For that we can do this ul dot nav hyphen tabs. Inside this ul we have to select the second anchor tag right here. So we can do this space a colon eq index will be 1, and we will set the tab title like this dot html. Inside that we will pass the text add new. If show view tab is equal to true, then we will show this view all tab after resetting this form. For that we can do this. Let me copy this from here and pasting here, changing index to 0 for view all tab, and finally call the function tab. Inside that we will pass the parameter show. So this will show the view all tab after resetting the form. Now we need to call this function inside jQuery Ajax success function. In order to call this function, we have to pass reset URL from this success function. So first of all, I have to store this reset URL inside this form as a data attribute. So I will pass the reset URL as a data attribute like this data hyphen reset URL. In order to pass this attribute inside this begin form method, we can do this data underscore reset URL. So we have to use underscore instead of hyphen. After rendering this view, it will be converted into hyphen is equal to URL dot action add or edit, then controller name will be employee. So this is the action add or edit of the type http get, and we have a parameter id, so we want to pass the id here. New id is equal to 0. Now we can call this function refresh add new tab, and we can pass the URL like this form dot attribute, and we can retrieve this data attribute that we have passed here. Instead of underscore we have to use hyphen. So in this case we want to show the view tab, so I will pass true as a second parameter. Now let me save this project and reload this page here. Now I am going to add one more record in order to test whether this resetting of form is working or not. Now I am going to submit this form. Click on submit. So here we have inserted the record for Fiona Green, and we have shown view all tab after insert operation. So here we have a fresh form to add new employees. So inside this jQuery Ajax success function, we have retrieved the response as the HTML of view all tab with updated employee list. Along with this message, we may need to pass the information like whether this operation is success or not. Apart from that, we may need to pass the message something like saved successfully, updated successfully. If there is any error, we want to show the error message, or you may need to show the message something went wrong, please contact administrator. For that, we will return a JSON data from this add or edit action method. JSON new. First of all, we will pass the data success is equal to true. Then we will pass the HTML. For now I will pass the empty string. Then we want to pass the message. Message is equal to submitted successfully. Finally we have to set the JSON request behavior as allocate. So this will return a JSON data to the jQuery Ajax success function here. Now we need to pass the HTML of view all tab right here. For that, I'm going to add a class into this application. I click on this project here, then add class. I will name this class as global class. Click on add. I'm going to make this class as static. Inside the class, I'm going to paste a function in order to convert razor views into HTML strings. So this is the function render razor view to string. For this controller, we have to use the namespace system.web.mvc, and for this string builder, we have to use this namespace system.io. Now back to the employee controller. Now call the function that we have just created, global class dot render razor view to string. First of all, we have to pass the controller object. For that, we can pass this parameter here. Then we have to pass the view name. So in this case, it is view all. After that, we have to pass the model data. Here you can see the action method view all. Into the view, we have passed the employee list using this function get all employees. So we will pass the data here, get all employees. Now we want to change this general JavaScript function jQuery Ajax post here. First of all, I will check whether this operation is success or not. For that, we can do this response.success. If it is equal to success, we will do the success operations here. Instead of response, now we need to pass response.html. Now back to the action method add or edit. Now I am going to add try catch here. For that, select all of this code inside this action method. Now I am going to enclose these codes inside a try catch block. For that, right click on here, then click on surround with, and I will type try, click enter. So this will be enclosed inside a try catch block like this. If there is any error, we can pass the error message like this. So let me copy this from here and pasting here. In case of exception, we will pass success as false. Success as false. We don't want to pass this HTML here. Now we'll pass the message as the error message here. ex.message. If operation is success, we can do this. Else, we will show the error message here. Error message here and success message will be here. Success. So next we are going to show the success message and error message using the plugin Notify.js. So next we are going to download and install Notify.js. For that, we can go to this website notifyjs.com, notifyjs.com. Then download this file notify.min.js. So here is the downloaded JavaScript file for the plugin. Now I am going to add this file into the application inside the folder scripts. For that, right click on this folder, then add existing item. Then I will select the downloaded file from my desktop, select the file, then click on add. So here we have added the JavaScript file for the plugin notify.min.js. Now we need to add the reference for this plugin inside the layout page here. So I will drag this file into this layout page so that we can add the reference of this script file here. Now in order to show the success message, we can do this $.notify. First parameter will be the success message itself. So here we have passed the message. So I will pass the message here, response.message. As a second parameter, we will pass the parameter to identify the type of notification that we want to show. So in this case, we want to show the success message. In order to see the complete documentation about the plugin, you can visit this website notifyjs.com. Here you can see that we have to pass the second parameter success in order to show the notification like this. Other than that, we have info, warning, error like this. So I want to show the error message like this. So I will pass the error as the second parameter. So let me copy this and pasting here. Inside this controller we have passed the error message as message, so we want to change this success as error. So next we are going to deal with the employee list here. I'm going to replace this hyperlink with phone over some icons for edit and delete actions. For that we can do this inside the view or CS.html. We will do this. I will remove this hyperlink from here. Instead of that I will add normal HTML hyperlink. Class is equal to btn. These are the classes from Bootstrap. btn hyphen default, and you want to set the final class btn sm. Inside this hyperlink I will add phone over some icons. So first of all we have to add the CSS reference for the phone over some style sheet. So inside this layout page I will paste the CSS reference for phone over some style sheet. Now back to view or view. In order to add the phone over some icon we can do this I tag then class. Now we want to select an icon for edit operation. So I will search for edit here. So I will select this one, pencil. So we have to pass the class like this, for space for hyphen pencil. Now I want to add one more class to make the icon more larger, for hyphen lg. Now let me copy this and pasting below that. So this hyperlink is for delete operation. So instead of default I will use the danger class here, and we have to select a phone over some icon for this operation. So I will search for delete here. So I will select this one, for space for hyphen trash. So I will change this for hyphen pencil to for hyphen trash. Sorry, instead of this default class I will use btn hyphen primary. Now let me save this project, reload this page. Now let me switch to view all tab here. So here you can see the phone over some icon for edit and delete operation. So next we are going to implement update operation using jQuery Ajax in ASP.NET.Mvc application. If user want to edit error code, he will click on this pencil icon here. Then we will make the second tab as the active tab, and we will change the title as edit. Then we want to show the selected employee details inside these text boxes, and we will show the selected employee image inside this image control. So let's look how we can do that. For that I'm going to add on click event for this icon. On click is equal to edit function. Inside that we will pass an URL to return form for update operation. So we can do this at URL dot action. First parameter will be the action name itself, add or edit. As a second parameter we will pass the controller name employee. Then we will pass the ID. New ID is equal to at item dot employee ID. So when user click on this edit pencil, we will call this action method add or edit inside employee controller of the type HTTP GET right here. So now we need to define this JavaScript function edit inside this script file here. For that we can do this function name will be edit, and we have a parameter URL. Now we need to make a jQuery Ajax get operation. For that let me copy these lines from here and pasting here. Instead of this I will pass URL parameter. So here we have the success function with parameter response. So from this add or edit action method we will return a form to update selected employee, and we will set that view HTML into the second tab like this, and we will change the second tab title as edit, and we want to make the second tab as active. For that we can use this line here, and we want to edit this tab index as 1 instead of 0. Now we need to edit this add or edit action method for update operation. For that I will do this if id is not equal to 0, we can say that this is an update operation. So inside this if clause, I will do this using statement db model object as db is equal to new db model, employee object emp is equal to db dot employees were x such that x dot employee id is equal to id, then call the function first or default, and we will convert that into employee object. Now let me build this solution and reload this page. Go to view all tab. Now click on edit pencil for what undercode. So here we can see the details of what undercode. Now using this form you can change the information about the employee. After that we can submit this form. So when we submit this form, it will reach up to this action method add or edit of the type HTTP post. So inside this action method we have written code for inserting new records. Now we want to edit this action method for update operation also. So I will do this if emp dot employee id is equal to 0, then we will do the insert operation. In the else part we will do the update operation. For that I will do this db dot entry emp dot state is equal to ndt state. For that we want to import this namespace system dot data dot entity dot modify. Finally call the function db dot save changes. Now let me build this solution again. Reload this page, go to view all tab, and I'm going to change the information about the employee Tho. Click on pencil. Now I'm going to change the position of Tho into junior developer. If you want to change employee image, you can use this input file control here. Otherwise we will use the previously added image relative path from the hidden field that we have added inside this add or edit view after employee id right here. So now I am going to submit this form. Click on submit. Here you can see the success message from the Notify.js plugin, and you can see the position of Tho is changed from developer to junior developer. So here we have updated the employee list. Next we are going to implement delete operation using jQuery Ajax. For that I am going to add on click event for this delete icon here. For that let me copy this on click event from edit icon and pasting here and changing the function to delete. Now we need to change this action name only. Instead of add or edit we will use the delete action name. So there should be an action method delete inside this employee controller. Now we need to define this JavaScript function inside the script file. Function name will be delete and we have a parameter URL. As you know, delete operation is a loss of data, so we want to confirm the delete operation. Confirm. Inside that we will pass the question, are you sure to delete this record? If user confirm this operation, it will return a true value, true. Inside this if clause we will do the delete operation. For that let me copy this jQuery Ajax operation from here and pasting here. It is a best practice to do delete operation using post action method rather than get action method. So I will change this type as post, and then we will pass the URL here. Then we have the success function here. So now we are going to implement delete action method inside employee controller. For that we can do this public action result delete, and we have a parameter int id. First of all, I will use the try catch here. In order to delete an employee with given ID, we can do this. First of all, I will declare the using statement here. As a resource, I will use the DB model object as DB is equal to new DB model. First of all, I will declare an object of employee as emp is equal to db dot employees where x such that x dot employee id is equal to given id. Finally, we have to call the first or default function and we will convert the result into employee object. Now, in order to delete this employee, we can do this db dot employees dot remove. Inside this function, we will pass this object emp. Finally, call the function db dot save changes. After all, we want to return a JSON data into this jQuery Ajax success function. For that, let me copy this return statement from post add or edit action method and pasting here. So this will return the updated employee list back to the caller. Finally, we have to set the message as deleted successfully. Deleted successfully. If there is any exception, we can pass the data like this. Let me copy this and pasting here. Now we want to make few more changes inside this delete Ajax operation. First of all, we will check whether this operation is success or not. For that, we can do this response dot success. If it is success, we will set the, if it is a success operation, we will set the updated employee list into the first tab. Response.html. Now we want to show the notification message. For that, let me copy this from here and pasting here. Instead of this success notification, I will use the warn. In the else part, we want to deal with the error, so we want to show this. I will copy this and pasting here. Type of notification will be error. Now let me build this solution. Reload this page. Go to view all tab. Now I am going to delete this record for free on agree. So click on this delete button here. So it will ask for the confirmation. Are you sure to delete this record? Click on OK. So here we deleted the record. You can see the success message here. Now when we select a record for update operation using this pencil, we will fill the selected employee details inside this form. Now suppose if user want to add new employee instead of editing this employee record, then we want to add an extra button beside this submit button here. For that, I will do this inside the add or edit view. I will add a new button. If model dot employee ID is not equal to 0, so I will add new hyperlink here. Class is equal to btn hyphen success, and I will add on click event. I will call this function refresh add new tab. So let me copy this function name from here and pasting here. As a first parameter, we want to pass the URL. So I will do this at URL dot action. Action name will be add or edit. Then controller name will be employee. Then I will pass the ID as 0. ID is equal to 0. Let me close this hyperlink here. As a second parameter, I will pass false because we don't want to show the view all tab inside this function. So I will pass this parameter as false. Inside this anchor tag, we want to show a phone over some icon. So I will add the I tag here. Class is equal to far space far hyphen plus, and I will add the text add new here. Let me save this and reload this page. Now I'm going to open this record for edit operation. So here you can see the button add new. If I click on this button, it will replace this tab with a form to add new employees. Click on add new. So here we have the final result. So next we are going to implement jQuery data table inside this ASP.NET.Mvc application. So this is the official website for the plugin jQuery data table, datatables.net. First of all, we have to use the CSS reference. So let me copy this reference from here and I will add the reference here. Link. And I will paste the link as href here. After that, we have to add the JavaScript references. First of all, we have to add this jQuery library. It is already there in this application. Now we need to add this JavaScript file. Let me copy this and we can add this here. Script src, and I will paste the JavaScript reference here. In order to convert this HTML table into jQuery data table, I will define a function here, JavaScript function. First of all, I will add the tag script here. Function name will be activate jQuery table. Inside that, we will activate this HTML table into jQuery data table. For that, I will add an ID here, employee table. Let me copy this ID from here and we can do this. Data table. Inside the jQuery ready function, we will call this function activate jQuery data table. Now we need to add t-head and t-body part for this table. T-head then t-body. Let me save this project, reload this page, go to view tab. So here we have converted the HTML table into jQuery data table. Now we need to call this function activate jQuery data table inside this general script file after operations like insert, update and delete. So how do we call this function inside this general script file? Because this function won't be needed for remaining controller views. So in order to call this function, we can do this. For now, I will copy paste the code here. First of all, we will check whether there is a function or variable with this name activate jQuery data table. Then we will check is there any function with this given name. If these two conditions is true, then we will call this function activate jQuery data table. We want to do this same operation inside this delete operation here. So I will paste the code here. Next, we are going to add loading spinner or loading image into ASP.NET.Mvc applications during jQuery Ajax operations. For loading spinner or loading image, I will add two div inside this layout page here. So using these two divs, we will show the spinner using CSS class. For that, I will add few CSS rules inside this file site.css. Let me paste the rules here. Saving and reloading this page. So here you can see the spinner. We want to show the spinner if there is any delay in server-side operations. So I'm going to hide this spinner inside the jQuery ready function inside this script file. So I will do this. First of all, I will add the jQuery ready function here. And I will use the div ID for the spinner. Let me copy the ID from here, loader body. And we can do this. In order to hide the div, we will add class height. hide. Let me save this and reload this page here. So here you can see the loader. When DOM is ready, we will hide the spinner here. Now we want to show this spinner during the Ajax post operation. For that, I will use this code here. During the Ajax start event, we will remove the class hide from the loader so we can show the loader. When Ajax stop event occurs, we will add the class hide into the loader so loader will be hidden. Now let me save this and reload this page. Finally, I am going to add a new employee in order to show the loading spinner during Ajax operations. Now I am going to submit this form. Click on submit. So you can see the loading spinner. So here we added new record for Ashton. We can see the success message here. That's it guys. In this video we have discussed how to implement jQuery Ajax CRUD operations using ASP.NET.Mvc and SQL Server. If you found this video helpful, please thumbs up this video, and for more hours of videos like this, please be subscribed to this channel .NET Mob. You can download this project source code and DB script from the link given below in video description. Please like and share this video with your friends and colleagues so that they can benefit from this. Have a nice day. Bye.